Hi class, this is Course 2, Lesson 49, Adding and Subtracting Mixed Measures. There are a lot of applications for adding and subtracting mixed measures. A lot of times, if you want to know how long something is, if you have two pieces of wood that you've measured and you need to know how much you have in all, or you need to calculate how much carpet you need, and you have these links here, we need to be able to add and simplify mixed measures. We'll find this with time, with weights, and we're going to add and subtract today. So if we need to add and simplify, here's what I suggest you do. Write these two vertically. So we're going to copy this down onto our paper, and we're going to leave a little bit of space in between so that we can definitely see what we're dealing with. And we're going to line up those corresponding measures and the amounts underneath. Okay. And I'm going to put a plus sign here so I don't forget what I'm doing. Now, we're just going to add. We always add. You start at the right and work your way to the left. So we're going to add 8 plus 7 is 15. And 2 plus 2 is 4. And 1 plus 2 is 3. And then copy down all of those units. Now here's where you have to know all of your unit conversions. So you need to know, so we added, now we're going to simplify. So we need to know what the unit conversion is to go from an inch to a foot. How many inches are in 1 foot? Well, there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So I need to change this so that I don't have more than one whole foot. I need just a portion of the foot here. So I'm going to subtract the 12 inches at the same time that I add a foot. Okay, so I'm going to take away from here, but I'm going to add over here. So 15 minus 12 is going to give us 3 inches. So I'm taking away a foot in those 12 inches, and I'm going to add that foot over here. 4 feet plus 1 foot, 5 feet, and 3 yards. Okay, so this column is done. The inches is done. Now I need to look at the feet. And what's the conversion from feet to yards? How many feet make a yard? Well, 3 feet equals 1 yard. So I'm going to do the exact same thing here. 5 feet, I need to take away those 3 feet that make the yard, and I need to add a yard to the yard column. Now, do not forget about your 3 feet, or 3 inches here. So the 3 inches is still in your answer. 5 feet minus 3 feet is 2 feet. And the 3 yards plus the yard that we borrowed, or we took away from the 5 feet, is 4 yards. So our answer, when we combine 1 yard, 2 feet, 7 inches with 2 yards, 2 feet, 8 inches, is 4 yards, 2 feet, 3 inches. Okay, and I can tell that this is simplified because none of the units to the right of the first one, 2 feet, I can't make another yard with that, and 3 inches, I can't make another foot. So I'm good. Okay, let's do another problem. We're going to actually add here and subtract here, 2 different problems. We'll do the addition problem first. Notice we're talking about time. Again, when you're adding, add from right to left and just start. So we get 85 seconds, 85 minutes, and 3 hours. Make sure you write this down in your notes, and then when you get to the problem set, make sure you copy these down. Don't try to do things in your head. Okay, now we need to know how many seconds make a minute. Hopefully you're thinking it's 60 seconds, so we're going to subtract 60 seconds. Well, how many minutes is that? It's going to add 1 minute. Okay, so do the calculations here. 85 minus 60 is 25 seconds, and 85 plus 1 is 86 minutes. And we still have those 3 hours. Okay, so the seconds column is done. We need to look at the minutes column. Do we have enough minutes to make another hour? Well, how many minutes are in an hour? 60 minutes in an hour, so I need to subtract 60 minutes here and add 1 hour here. Don't forget about the column you already did, 25 seconds. 86 minus 60 would leave 26 minutes, and 3 plus 1 would leave 4 hours. Now, again, take a look at these because it's possible that you had more than one group to subtract and move to the next column. 25 seconds, 26 minutes, 4 hours. That seems right. Okay. The thing to caution here is that these are not the same. Well, they're the same. They represent the same amount, but 1 minute is not the same as 60. Okay, so what I take away from here, I don't have to add 60 over here. It's the conversion. 1 minute is 60 seconds. Okay, we're going to use that information now to subtract. When I need to take 1 day, 15 hours and 40 minutes away from 5 days, 10 hours, 15 minutes, we start at the right again and we look at these numbers. Can I take 40 away from 15? No. So I need to borrow first. Okay? And we're going to do this one step at a time. So I need to borrow 1 hour. And 1 hour is going to increase this by how many minutes? 60 minutes. So my new number up here, the amount of minutes I have, is 75 because 15 plus 60 equals 75. So I need to look at this and say 75 minus 40 is 35 minutes. And then look at your hours. Can you take 15 hours away from 9 hours? No. You need to borrow, and the next column to borrow from is days. So I'm going to borrow 1 whole day. But 1 whole day is how many hours? 24 hours. So I'm going to add 24 to my 9, and now I'm going to have 33 hours to subtract from. So 33 minus 15 would be, I'm going to put hours there. 13 minus 5 is 8, and 20 minus 1 is 1. And then 4 minus 1 is 3 days. Now, take a look here. Can I make another hour out of 35 minutes? Can I make another day out of 18 hours? No and no, so that's your answer. Okay? The difference between addition and subtraction. In addition, you have to do your converting at the end. And when you subtract, you have to borrow at the beginning. Okay, so subtraction, you have work to do before you can do the problem, and addition, you have work to do at the end of the problem. Okay, last example for you. We need to subtract 2 yards, 1 feet, 8 inches from 4 yards, 3 inches. So when they give you the problem like this will get written down first. So we're going to write 4 yards. But the next unit they give us is inches, and I know that there's one in between there. So I'm going to write that there are no feet and 3 inches. Because I need to match these units underneath here. So 2 yards goes under the 4 yards, 1 foot goes under the 0 feet, and 8 inches goes under the 3 inches. And again, I'm subtracting. So I know that I'm going to have to borrow first. Because can I subtract 8 from 3? No. So I go to the feet, but I don't have any to borrow from. So I have to go to the yards. So I borrow 1 yard, and that's going to give me how many feet? How many feet are in a yard? There are 3 feet in a yard. But I remember I needed to borrow, so I go over here and I borrow 1 foot, and that's going to increase this by 12 inches, which gives me 15 to subtract from. 15 minus 8 is 7 inches, 2 minus 1 is 1 foot, and 3 minus 2 is 1 yard. And I shouldn't be able to make another unit. 7 inches is not a foot, and 1 foot is definitely not a yard, so we're done. This can be tricky, especially when you have to leave placeholders or when you're borrowing. You have to make sure that you're using the same amount of units that you would find in that grouping. So in a foot it would be 12 inches. In a yard it would be 3 feet. Same when you add and you have to convert back, you have to remember what those conversion rates are. Okay, so again, it can be tricky. Let me know if you have questions. Otherwise, please make sure you're writing all the steps out on your assignment. We'll take a look at that in class.